I'm a piece of you-know-what. I'm a spoiled, stinking brat. It's all relative. I'm living like a king. I've got a super humble existence, but I'm living like a king relative to some poor bastard. Better than me, for all I know, suffering needlessly, and sometimes dying out in the cold. God's sake. Around here in Northern California, I'd be dead the first freaking night of cold. It got down to freezing. This weather idiot comes on because their report from the day before, oh, it's going to be in the upper 30s today. It was freezing. 32 degrees out here. 32 degrees. I was born in Southern California. I'd be dead one night out in this stuff. And I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to be passionate about this. For God's sake, what's wrong with Casey? I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy prosperity. I'm not a stupid man. I can figure out how to win at this game of making a lot of money, being successful, finding financial security, financial freedom. I can do it. I can figure it out. I'm sure plenty of other people like me too can, that are poor, that don't give a crap. They're on the verge of taking a vow of poverty. I'm disgusted because God's disgusted. He wants me to be disgusted with all of us. We're all culpable in this. Me too. I haven't taken a bullet to the brain. But damn, I tell you, we got that Federal Reserve. I'm telling you, man, it's time. 6 freaking decades, over 6 decades. I've had to watch this unfold. No, almost 6 decades. In 2 years, it'll be 6 decades. The assassination of JFK. The frogs went in the pot of water. And we've been cooked ever since. Yeah, there's been stepping points, increments like the Bretton Woods that Max and Stacey are always complaining about going off the gold standard during Nixon's reign of terror. Yeah, but they forget what the precursor to that was going off the silver standard. When they assassinated JFK and the new dollar went with him. These people, how could they have known that? How could they have? That was a gamble for the Federal Reserve. Whoever was behind that, Quay Bono, who benefits? He was in the process of abolishing the Federal Reserve, for God's sake. This country would be so far into black, your head would spin by now if JFK had gotten his way. And that bailout of '08, that's a nail in the coffin. From there on out, it's like there's no rules anymore. The man of lawlessness is exposed. He gets his way. It's all by absolute evil genie deliberation. I say genie instead of genius. You get the drift, though. The magic of the alchemy of the money. You look at money. It's so stupid. It's based on nothing. Why has Bitcoin been successful? Because it's backed. Anything could be successful. Max Kaiser never talks about this. We could have successful fiat currency. Look how long the pound was successful in Britain. It had a long run. I'm sure it's shot to heck now, but you get the point, right? We could have sound money, but it's got to be backed by something that's finite, like gold and silver. That's why people say you need the backing. And you need checks and balances. You need people they can't scam the system, the monetary system, and the scammers are in total control now. Okay, this country is shot to crap, man. It's shot to crap. And it's by evil genius deliberation. I'm telling you. It's these thieves at the uppermost echelons of power. The Senate and the Congress, the critical mass, not all of them. It's a generalization. Okay, but enough to get the job done. That's the critical mass definition I'm talking of. And they've done it. They've really screwed us. Okay. And we're in trouble. We're down this demonic rabbit hole toward hell a long way. But the good news is I feel the hand of God in the mix, and it's coming through knowledge, accurate information, godly information that we all deserve to have. We need to have to be empowered to go forth and demand justice. And even if we've got plenty of economic justice for ourselves, we must care about others. You want to be happy? Remember, you're still stuck on that bus with that psycho terrorist bus driver drunk on the blood of saints that's completely out of his nut, okay, and ready to just take us into God knows where. I mean, we don't want to know, but we're stuck on it together. All human beings stuck on little spaceship Earth, Okay, that's what's going on here. And God won't let us be happy. You got to at least confront it. You've got to demand. If you don't, I mean, it's just like a mechanic telling you, yeah, hey, the water pump's going out. Yeah, it's negative. The mechanic's negative. Eh, you go on it, take a trip up, you're stuck in the middle of nowhere. That's where they're taking us. You're stuck. I mean, you've got to pay for a motel and in a repair shop you're not familiar with, and you're paying. You might miss your work. All kinds of complications, right? Maybe. I mean, it's just a big deal because you didn't listen to the advice from the professional. And I'm telling you, I'm a learned man. I'm educated in this economic stuff. Not the minutia. I don't get into any investment advice, none of that crap. But in the basic, rudimentary, fundamental principles of supply and demand, I know. If the game is played fair, okay, for sure, those doing the hardest work out there, those menial tasks that we take advantage of, we marginalize those people as uneducated or unskilled, doing jobs that are imperative to the welfare of society overall. Okay, they for sure, if anybody gets ahead and there's a disparity, it's in their favor. That's how the game would be played. Okay, but I'm saying it's God's planet. By extension, we all have a right to share in this planet's wealth, the resources, of which our labors are the greatest resource. Okay, you understand? That's the greatest resource. We all have a right to share in that, and we would. Okay, if these people weren't meddling, this inventing problems, chaos, because then they come in like the savior. Well, we got to do something about the chaos that they created on purpose so that they could just have more control. I mean, they create their own control through chaos, through they're troublemakers. That's what they are. And they're thieves. They're slavers, the slaver class, stealing your labor, stealing your sense of security, stealing your sense of freedom, stealing your prosperity, stealing. So you're in a constant state of being victimized. Who wants to be victimized all the time? Who wants that mindset, that psyche? I don't like it. It sucks. But making a lot of money isn't the answer to my problems. I want to dry up homelessness first. I want to bind the wound on the collective body of humanity where it's hemorrhaging, for God's sake, where it's logical. That's all. And I'm trying to convince you to want to do that too and to get it and to start demanding some change for the positive, that at least people stop suffering needlessly and dying out on the street when we've got an excess of vacant housing. There's not a housing shortage out there. Go research it for yourself. I've done it. There's a huge excess of housing, but affordable housing, no. And then we got to spend $50 billion a year the taxpayers pay to make the problem worse. I mean, for God's sake, and we're spending what, $70,000 at least a year per inmate to keep these criminals in jail whose crimes were induced by desperate poverty? It's insane. The entire world is insane, and we've got to admit it and confess it. God sees God's a lot of things, but one thing he's not is stupid. Okay, and he's not going to buy a lot of psychobabble on Judgment Day. Our belief system, our BS has to hold water when it's mano a mano with our owner. That's what God is. You got to surrender that's it. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's a fact. So you need to acknowledge it and then go before him with that spirit, with that attitude, with that understanding. That's the relationship. Something went terribly wrong. The original sin, the fall of man, all that, the crap, the tree of good and evil knowledge, okay, the free will choice, that separation from God, the shame, the guilt, all that negative crap, okay, he knows about that. He was pissed off. We got to understand our relationship got off on an extremely rocky start. So we need to go through to him humbly and say, God, I want to know the truth about all these issues. You lay it out one-on-one. He loves you. He knows you in a way nobody else can know, love, and understand you. He cares about you, and he wants you to be there and be ready for the world of tomorrow. Infinitely better. The renewal of all things, like Christ called it. And there certainly can't be any money lovers there. There can't be any way for any man to get advantage over you, or those men can't be there that want to do that. And there can't be any form of money. That's the big fat fly in the ointment here of our joy and happiness and peace and everything good. I want people to understand where I'm coming from. I really am not a xenophobe. I'm certainly not racist. Cesar Chavez was a wonderful guy. I don't know why we don't have a Cesar Chavez holiday. Okay, he looked after the interests of farm workers. He was a good guy. He was opposed to illegal immigration. People got to learn some American history. My mother was born in East L.A. Both her parents were from Dalmatia, which is a district, a region of where is it?